Good morning. Nothing like a nice morning stogie to really put some hair on the chest. Well, today I want to talk about why I'm 31 years old and I just moved back in with my dad. And about a month ago, if I would have told you this, there's no way I would have shared it. I thought about sharing it and I'm like, nope, too vulnerable. That is, no one's going to learn about that. No one's going to think I'm a loser. Well, what I came to realize is who fucking cares? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, no one's living my life, only me. And the decisions I make are mine and my own. And that's that. So the beautiful thing about my decision is I'm 31 years old. I shouldn't be moving back in with my dad. According to who? According to societal standards, right? And this is where in the self-development game, in the game of life, everyone's giving people advice, right? Oh yeah, you gotta have X amount of money in your bank account by the time you're this age. You can never do that thing. Burn all your boats, all these things. I listened to that. I was out of the house at 18 years old, fresh off to junior college. I put myself through that. I had a lot of debt afterwards. But I was self-sacrificing from a young age, and I got after it, and I made a lot of things happen. Got a nursing degree at 25, quit at 27, moved abroad for 5.5 years. I lived an insane life. And so all of this is to say, who fucking cares if at 31 years old, I moved back in with my dad? You want to know why I moved back in with my dad? I ran my bank account down to $0. Literally $0. I have the screenshot to prove it. And I canceled all my credit cards. And I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not living this way. And I'm going to change everything because I love changing my identity. So I decided, you know what? I'm not going to be in this system of checks and balances and credits anymore. And I kept finding myself working with these companies. I have a lot of skill sets. I find myself working with a lot of companies as a consultant and jumping on sales teams and stuff like that. And I kept finding myself giving way too much to these companies and them not honoring me back. And all of it wasn't their fault. It was my fault because I didn't honor myself. So I'd jump on these companies' teams, work my ass off. For some of the companies I was on, they'd be promising more than they would actually end up bearing any fruit. And then I'd be sitting there just starting to build up resentment because I'm doing all this stuff that wasn't even in the contract. So I get to a point where I'm like, you know what? I've tried starting businesses many times for myself, and I'm working really hard at this company and the next one and the next one. And I keep getting pissed off at all these business owners because they don't run their companies in an ethical way. Well, fuck. What's the next step? The next step is I actually just go all in for once in my fucking life. And I say that laughingly because I've gone in on many things. But all in on business. All in on business. That is what I'm talking about. What does that look like? Well, it looks like no longer waiting for things to happen. Business is not just cash flow from clients. Business is how I conduct my life. It's how you should conduct your life as well. It's all about the business, baby. That's what we do. That's how we live. We conduct business in every area, in every room we walk into. And so I moved back in with my dad, and I realized I'm not a failure. I'm not a loser. I would have never moved back in with my dad if I had $2,000 in my bank account still sitting there, or 5 or 10 or $1 million. Absolutely wouldn't have moved back in with him if it was $1 million, and I wouldn't have bought a house next to him if I had 10 million and probably hung out with him. I would have made some excuse as to why I'd be using that money for something else. So what God did, remarkably, he put me in a position where it's like, no, you need to go back and you need to reconnect with your family. You need to reconnect with your roots. You need to let go of all your bullshit related to your family. And I'm going to let you lean on them. I'm going to let you be the person who actually receives. So I went back home, started living with my dad, and I realized, holy shit, I've done a lot of work on my relationship with myself as a man. I've completely changed masculinity as we know it for myself. And I've been able to hold space in a way that made it so my dad and I can't ever fight. It's not possible. It's not allowed. And it's not even a conversation that needs to be had, because my energy is so different around my father because of the blood, sweat, and tears I put into changing myself, that the relationship is incredible. And if I didn't run my bank account down to the level it did, I would have never been able to experience that gift of knowing what it's like to go back and live with parents and realize, holy shit, the dynamics we had before will never exist again. And the problems we had before will never exist again. Because on any given day, if I change enough, my dad doesn't need to go do Vipassana retreats, and he doesn't need to go do a bunch of inner development and child trauma therapy. I've already done all that shit. The bloodline is clean. The bloodline's clean. Are there things he can change and to become a more healthy man? Of course. But right now, the bloodline's changed. The Trudell bloodline is back, baby. It's back online. And we don't need to fucking fight anymore. And this is what no one talks about. Everyone online is all about the Benjamins. And it's a fucking sickness. It's an absolute sickness. Oh yeah, I'm a 16-year-old drop shipper who has a crypto portfolio. And I'm making $50,000 a month using AI. What have you done? It's like, cool, bro. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. You have way more money than me. You also have a Lamborghini and you have zero life experience. Show me what you're doing at the gym. Show me you cold approaching. Show me the shit you're working on with your hands. Show me about the amount of guys that follow you. And I'm not talking about on Instagram. I'm talking about actually listen to the words that you're saying and it inspires them to be different. Show me that. So we live in this world where everyone is, not everyone, let me take that back. A lot of people are chasing this. They're chasing that. It's a cool car. I like that truck better. They're chasing that. And when they get it, they flex it. And when they flex it, they realize, fuck, I don't actually feel that much better. Let me get something else. keeping up with the Joneses. That's what a lot of this reality in America is about. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a great place. I'm so glad I moved back. I never thought I would ever come back to America and live here, let alone California. It is the land of the bold and the brave for a reason. But boy, did we get our balls cut off. Boy, did people start becoming really fucking soft. And so all of this is to say, I know exactly what I want to say. This reality that we live in, it's a fucking illusion. It's an absolute illusion. This is a projection. And I'm not going to get into all that. What I will get into is, if this reality is not what we think it is, why not test the waters? Why not jump off the boats? Why not jump from airplanes, both physically and spiritually? Why not? People always say, cats have 9 lives. Well, what does that mean? It means that cats are fucking savages. They have 9 lives because they do crazy shit and they don't die. And when we watch them, we're like fascinated because it puts us back into this primal essence of what we're actually supposed to be. We are killers. I'm speaking mostly to men. Killers, fire in the belly, pushing the limits, climbing mountains. We're not supposed to be filling our coffers up so that we can get a freaking sweet ride. You know what I mean? If I just get that Tesla, then me and all the tech bros every Saturday can go to the bar and drink a bunch of Coronas. Like, that's not what life is about. Might be for you, but I'm in the business of hanging out with dudes that are getting after it. They're smoking a stogie on a Saturday morning with a weight vest. That is the vibe. And so I'm fucking pumped to be living with my dad. Absolutely pumped. Because the family's a family again. We're getting after it. We're changing things. Being back with my dad has completely allowed me to look at the life I want to build. And it's reminded me that I don't want to be just some consumer who's just consuming shit all the time. So that I can go to Costco and I can buy a bunch of shit I don't need. I see it all the time. Costco's dope, by the way. Costco is dope. They got some sweet paddle boards. I'm going to put it in the expedition and I'm going to rip that thing to whatever lake I can find. And I'm going to go meet super cool people. And we're going to have a blast. We're going to have a blast. So all of this is to say, who fucking cares if you make a decision that brings a little shame to you? Not going to lie. Did my 31-year-old self go, yeah, I really want to wake up today and move back in with my dad? No, but why? It's not because of anything other than, what is society going to think of me? Well, society can fuck off. But I ultimately thought society's gonna, it's not even society. It's the lie that society sold me. I'm gonna be a loser, right? And this is the thing that men need to understand. You gotta get your chest muddy. You gotta get your feet, your fingernails, your toes, you gotta get them covered in dirt. And dirt is the world. You need to go get your hands fucking muddy. You need to get covered in clay. You need to wrestle with bears. You need to wrestle with the spirit. You need to find what your soul is actually here to do. You don't do that sitting at home chasing crypto pumps. I know a guy, he's got this huge crypto business. I used to work with him, coaching coaches to coach coaches. The guy is an absolute stud. And it's not because he got in early on crypto. Crypto is only his medium of the thing he loves to do. And so he crushes it. It has nothing to do with crypto. It has everything to do with who he is as a man. The guy fucking put a gym in his garage. He's got like 7 ridiculous cars. And not because he's trying to flex. He likes cars. He likes working on cars. He likes making cars look different. He likes putting freaking bike racks on cars. He put a bike rack on his Lamborghini and then he drives it into the mountains and then he goes mountain biking. Like, that is living. And then he throws conferences like a couple times a year, makes rackaroonies. But why do we even care about the rackaroonies? He's making rackaroonies helping people, teaching people how to level up. And so we can say, let's say me at 31 moving back in with Daddy-O is rock bottom. Well, what they don't teach you in school, in the public school system, is rock bottom is a beautiful place to be. Because at rock bottom, it's the only place where you can identify exactly what you don't want to be anymore. You can only get there by going for it. Fucking going for it. You gotta go for it. This is chicks. Chicks in a Porsche. Chicks in a Porsche. That is what I'm living for. Going for it. When you're on your deathbed, you want to go, oh yeah, I remember that one time in my life. There was this split. There was this big split. I had a decision to make. That decision got me here now. And I'm really happy that I took the safe path. I'm really happy that I spent 30 years paying off my mortgage. Because if I decided to go on that plane trip that I'd always dreamed about, visiting monks in the Himalayas to figure out the consciousness of reality, if I did that, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know if I'd have a Foley catheter in my penis right now with some nurse who doesn't like her job taking care of me. But I'm really glad I took the safe route. No one ever said that. No one. There's many books on this. Talk to people who have who've had near-death experiences. I met a guy once. He was 26 when he had a near-death experience. The dude was stacked. Absolutely stacked. But borderline steroid stacked. Like no flexibility, no mobility. You put him in the water, he's drowning. Big boy. Well, he ended up having a cardiac arrest. Ends up getting CPR. Completely dies. Near-death experiences, they now only classify the person as dying now if it's a cardiac arrest, because so many people have been having near-death experiences. So he has a qualified near-death experience, CPR and everything. They bring him back to life. Let's get this tripod set up real quick. Bring him back to life, and his life completely changed. He said everything he was doing was wrong. He was shown God, which you can buy books on this. People with near-death experiences experience up to, I believe, 20 different things. And of those 20 things, many people will share similar. So they'll be like, of the 20, most people will experience 5 in no particular order. Some of those include shooting through a tunnel and then seeing flashing light, meeting some form of God, speaking to him, or having some kind of conversation with or without words. All of these things happen, right? And what ends up happening for the person is they come back into their body. They're like, holy shit, I gotta change. How's that bike? Fast? Nice. How long of a charge you got on that thing? How long of a charge you get on that? 30 minutes, an hour? You get an hour on that thing? 3 hours, that's good. All these kids got these electric motorcycles now. Dope. They're super dope. Dangerous. But if I had one of those things, oh my God, I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get one. So these people, they have these near-death experiences, and then they come back, and life is completely different because they have to face themselves. They have to face this new reality that they need to create, and that can only happen at rock bottom, in my opinion. When you die, medically, right? Because if you come back, you didn't really die, but you die. They have to bring you back to life. You got a lot to think about. How are you living your life now? How have you been living wrong? What do you want to do before you die? All these questions come up, especially with someone who just had their ribs broken because they had some lady doing CPR on them. Then with these questions, you're faced with something very difficult. What do I do now? For a lot of people, they go back in old patterns. There's whole entire groups on near-death experiences where people have to kind of embody and talk about and discuss how they implement what they just saw and what they just went through into everyday reality. And it's very difficult for people because it's essentially take all your Ibogaine, Bufo, ayahuasca experiences, wrap that into one, and don't include any drugs. It comes straight from you. How do you embody that? Well, you embody it by becoming extremely present. And when people almost die, they become more present than ever before. This is why adrenaline junkies love adrenaline. They love jumping off cliffs with wingsuits, which is like one of the most dangerous things you can ever do. Why do they do it? Because it makes them feel alive. It makes them feel present. When you get off of a mountain that you just jumped off of with a wingsuit and you land on the ground and there's all these people looking at you in awe of what you just did, you think it's going to be hard talking to a pretty girl? You think it's going to be hard going into the office and saying, "Hey, I'm not working here anymore. I'm going to go buy a camper van and travel the U.S. jumping off cliffs." Well, how are you going to make money? Uh, I saved a couple grand. Well, what are you going to do after that couple grand's up? I'm going to figure it out. You can't do that. I am. I leave tomorrow. That's what I did with my nursing job. Put in my 2 weeks notice. 26 years old or so, about to turn 27, I think. December 31st, 2019. No, that's the day I left. Put in my 2 weeks notice probably on the 16th or something. I made the mistake of not telling them not to tell anyone. So every day I walk into work, this was actually great for me. Every day I walk into work, I got 3 coworkers who actually don't care about my life at all, pretend they do. Where are you going? Oh, yeah, I'm leaving. Where? Columbia. Oh, in like Washington, D.C. or someplace in the Carolinas have a Columbia or something. No, the country Columbia. The country. There's a country. Yeah. There's a country called Columbia. I'm going there. Oh, cool. For like a week. Are you gonna be a nurse there? No, I'm gonna live there. Okay, but you're gonna come back and you're gonna be a nurse again, right? Not part of the plan. I had to do this for 2 weeks with people. It was hilarious. And it was hilarious because I didn't have the conviction in myself that I have now. So every time I had that conversation, it was extremely uncomfortable for me because I had people with other wills, other life experience, and I had older people, I had my elders telling me, your decision is really stupid. It's not going to pan out well. Why would you do that? And I saw in their eyes the lack of life force that these people had. And ultimately, what pushed me into making my decision was one, I was at proper rock bottom. The rock bottom I'm at now, it's fun because I've been at rock bottom before. The rock bottom then was the hardest rock bottom I've ever been at. I was sick with systemic autoimmune disease that the doctors called eczema. And I really had to come to terms with, I'm not happy. My life sucks. The thing I signed up for that I thought was going to be the thing I'd be doing for the rest of my life is not that. And I had to accept that truth. It's a brutal truth to accept. And I had to make a decision. And that meant for 2 weeks, I had to listen to people tell me why I was throwing my life away. And I had to watch in their eyes the lack of hope and faith and confidence they had in themselves for going after their own dreams because they had a family or because they had a mortgage. I knew many people, many of the coworkers that I work with that were dudes, they were single and they weren't getting after it. There were some guys that were travel nurses. Every now and again, I'd meet a stud who was living a cool life. But for the most part, they got that job for security. They got that job for the illusion of being safe. And this is a very feminine thing. I grew up mostly with my mom. This is why moving back in with my dad on paper was a hard thing to do. But it wasn't hard because I did the work to no longer have to have any resentment towards my father. But I grew up primarily with my mom. And what I realized, um, what I realized was the family unit is so important, and everything in the United States, in a lot of the world, is trying to strip everyone of the family unit and the family nucleus. The United States is so good at it that they really pushed feminism for the longest time, not to get women more rights, so that they could have two households instead of one paying taxes. That's why feminism exists. If we get two people paying taxes and being afraid of the government, well, we're going to have twice as much money. So everyone goes and does that. And women are now working these jobs that they hate, that they shouldn't be working. And people are paying nannies and babysitters that they don't even really know to watch their kids and raise them and teach them. Oh man, this dog just ripped this, just freaking tackled this bird and was about to rip it alive. Hunting dog. So now we got soft men through feminist programming, just walking around with wives that hate them and resent them because they don't respect them. And we got water boys walking around filling up every chick's water bottle, doing everything for them, and not holding people accountable. And then we now live in a reality where everyone's just keeping up with the Joneses because they were taught feminism is good. And if you're like me, raised by primarily a woman in a household with a sister, you were taught all the principles that women teach people. And I'm not saying women don't make good decisions. Women have very strong intuition. Women have excellent caring abilities, way more than I ever could care. Way better with dogs, usually. I mean, that's an argument in itself. But in terms of caring for a living being, women are way better at that. And we've taken that away from them. And so I grew up in a household where my mom had to be my dad. that bird, that bird just got away, living another day. Bet he's more present. Had a mom raising me, and so I wasn't taught anything about masculine dynamics, about how to be a man, how to show up in the world. And to be a man in this day and age, all you have to do is be more present, be around a group of other men that are also all striving to be more present, and to get after it. We are tribal people, we're tribal beings. We're meant to be around tribes of other men who are pushing us to our edge. And that edge, the edge represents the cliff. You are not ever walking your edge if you don't fall off that cliff. Me quitting my job was falling off the cliff, just deciding to fall off. Me moving back in with my dad, it was an edge for me. It's like, that doesn't feel good, but I'm going to do it anyway. We as men are meant to be on the edge. We're meant to do scary shit. Doing the scary shit is actually what attracts the women. It's what attracts the business. It's the life force. And people want to be around that. And me moving back in with my dad at 31 years old has taught me a very valuable lesson. There's nothing more important than the family unit. I don't care what my dad did in the past. I don't care what we're going to do together in the future. I care about cultivating the relationship now in the present moment, letting go of all shit and just being present. This bird is having a day. He's getting attacked by other birds now. What kind of pterodactyl thing is that? I don't know if you guys can see that, but that thing is prehistoric. But we're meant to let go of all the shit we carry with our family, all the past trauma and bullshit. You don't need to go to a therapist. Break that word into two. You get the rapist for 6 years to be able to live a good life. Go do crazy shit. Start pushing your edge. I just bought a massage table and business cards, and I'm gonna go start knocking on doors in the neighborhood, and I'm just gonna bootstrap my new business model. That's living. So all of this is to say, go out and live. Much love. Later.